and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Colonel Tom Mason, and it is my pleasure to welcome you to the retirement ceremony honoring Major General Daniel L. York and his family for a distinguished military career. In recognition of over 36 years of honorable service to his country, the men and women of North American Aerospace Defense Command and United States Northern Command pay a special tribute to Major General York on the occasion of his retirement from the United States Army Reserve. The presiding official for today's ceremony is General Laurie J. Robinson, Commander, North American Aerospace Defense Command and United States Northern Command. Please stand for the arrival of official flag.
Wow. General Robinson, General Sangamon, distinguished guests. I'm going to stay fixed to the podium. You know that's not my style, but I need to today. Thank you for coming this morning. Your presence greatly honors me. And I want you to know that Kathleen and I will always treasure this day and our family. Wow. I mean, it's very special. I can't look at you, you're right. So if I'm looking at the wall, you'll know why. Contrary to what you may think, as an infantryman, I can usually remember that there's airmen, coasties, and Seabees, and our good sailors out there, but I'll mess up if I try to do that every time, so I'm just gonna say soldiers. So if you will forgive me, all of you that are in different services, I'm not overlooking you, but it's easy for an infantryman to go soldiers. So I'm going soldiers. This morning is not about me, and thank you for saying that, because I wholeheartedly agree with you. It never has been about me, because no one becomes a two-star general by his or her own effort. I'm here today only by God's grace and because of you. And by the way, it's pretty cool to have my neighbors here. So, you guys, thanks for coming and supporting Westchester. That's pretty awesome. You helped put me here and you helped me finish a 36-year chapter on a great journey of service. As I look out among you, I'm humbled and I'm exhilarated. Dad and Mom, I know you couldn't make it. What General Robinson said. I'm with her. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for your care and example, so I'm sorry you can't be here, but you are here, so thanks for being with us. Dave Meade, where are you? Stand up. Notice how tall and handsome he is. Dave Meade is where I got my start. 3 times my roommate at West Point, and a great friend, and it's awesome to be in Colorado Springs together with you, bro. And he typifies the beginning for me 40 years ago, because we've been great friends ever since, and I could say the same about a whole bunch more of you that are classmates in this room. And our banner really did a really nice job of standing up. I think it's because we're in an Air Force building, maybe. Luther Tukes, where are you? Stand up, sir. Come here. Wow. That, ladies and gentlemen, is my very first platoon sergeant. I got in a Gamma Goat. Most of you don't know what that is. Mark does. I got in a Gamma Goat. Mark and I were in the same battalion, and I went out to the field, and a cold, rainy day in February, every infantryman's greatest day, cold and rainy. And Luther Tukes met me. I'm sure he thought, holy cow, what are we getting? Skinny little second lieutenant. He's a Vietnam vet. And I distinctly remember Luther telling me, hey sir, just be quiet. Follow me and I'll take care of you. Wow. From cradle to grave. What great words of wisdom. I did not become an effective platoon leader because of West Point. I became an effective platoon leader because of that man. Please give him a hand. Tom Mailing, your great MC today, and Paul Amrine got called out because of the storm down in Texas. So he literally talked about go to the beat of the drum. Where's the rest of my NORAD Northcom crew? Stand up if you would. Eric, Sergeant Gazelle, Matt. Where'd Chief go? Is she with the York Pepper and Patties? They're a draw, I know. Please give them a hand. They put the period in the sentence, and they helped me the last almost 2 years of service here, and they're great folks. My job's been easy because they're fantastic. I mean, Reserve Forces Director is such a misnomer because they're the ones that do all the work. The assessor part, on the other hand, is a little different. Thanks for that, by the way. Today is a day of reflection for me, and as I look back on the past 36 years of service, I think the question begs to be asked, what are the keys that help a leader be successful? This morning, I'd like to share with you 4 keys that to me stand out as essential. And with further reflection, whenever I've served under a leader or had subordinate leaders who lacked one of the qualities of which I'm about to share with you, there was always toxicity or something missing in the command. And it was much harder to create a climate for mission accomplishment and taking care of soldiers. Last night, General Hoover and I were at the Air Force Academy. They actually let me on there now and then. And we were there because the West Point cadets were taking their oath of affirmation when they hit their 3rd year as cadets. Same for Air Force and Navy, any of the cadets at the military academies. When they start that 3rd year, that's when their obligation kicks in. So it's a big deal. And Air Force Academy is very gracious and lets the West Pointers come together that are exchange students. And so I got to share last night with them what I'm about to share with you. And I told them, as I'm going to tell you, these are words that you probably don't hear very often in military addresses. I'm going to use 4 words you probably don't hear from military officers very often. It's interesting though, and not surprising that you've already heard it a lot from our great leader earlier. Love. When's the last time you heard a general talk about love? Show of hands. Kind of proves my point. It's interesting to know that the world's best-selling book, the Bible, has 2 commands in it. Love God with all your heart, soul, and strength and mind, and love your neighbor as yourself.
Amen.
Love is an action, and it creates an environment where people thrive because they're valued and they're honored. In every assignment, beginning with Luther Tukes and a bunch of infantrymen, knuckleheads we are, I let them know up front in every assignment, starting with platoon leader until my last command, 76 Operational Response Command, that I'm a Christian. That's the first thing I tell them. That's the first thing out of my mouth. I know that today that word's watered down and it can mean a zillion things. For me, it simply means that I love Jesus, that He's changed my life, His love is what propels me. That's where I get my energy. In making this announcement, another cool thing happens. I immediately become accountable to every one of my soldiers. Guess what they start watching? The language that comes out of my mouth. You can't get away with certain words when you announced who you follow. Also, conduct, attitude, character. You don't get a pass. That's the way it should be. You shouldn't get a pass. Can I get an amen? Amen. That helped. We don't talk a lot about love in the military, but it's something that we profoundly understand. Profoundly. Why? Because any soldier wearing a uniform knows that he just might have to give his life for his fellow soldier, right? He might have to give his life for his country. Perhaps in some ways, this is why I consider the military to be a sacred profession. It's funny, I tried many times to quit the military. Roger Lambert, where are you? Stand up, dude. Roger and I went to high school together in the Philippines. Roger can tell stories on me. If you want to find out about all the times I tried to quit the Army, talk to Roger. Try not to embellish it too much. Today, General Robinson modeled this concept of love. Ma'am, you and I have never served together. This is our first assignment. And yet you took the time with an incredibly, and I can't emphasize enough, incredibly busy schedule. She pored over my records from the time that I was weaned. Well, maybe not that. But she went through every OER I ever received. She checked on my family. She personally spoke with them and took time to talk to them this morning. Why do you do that? I'll tell you why she does it. She does it because she cares. And caring comes out of love. If you don't do that for people, if you don't really care about them, then you don't take the time. Listen, I've done a ton of these. You've done a ton more. It's very easy to check the block, to come in and help somebody retire and say platitudes and nice words about them. Anybody can do that. It takes 5 minutes. And then you can send them on their way, and they're happy because you were a general officer. She didn't do that. She went way, way beyond anything I could have ever imagined. That's what I mean about love. That's what it means to take care of your people. And that's what the military should be about. So I think we should give her a hand. And since it's not about me, I can kind of make it about you. Just saying. So love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It is not boastful. It is not conceited. It does not act improperly. It's not selfish. It's not provoked, and it does not keep a record of wrongs. Love finds no joy in unrighteousness, which means you're doing dumb stuff. But it rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things, and by the way, it never ends. In the military, we cannot function and win without it. Second word I want to talk to you about is discipline. Discipline is also an action. Without it, we fall apart and we feed chaos. When I look back at my life at those times when I have not had the discipline that I should, you can be sure that the words selfish and foolish lurked close by. In the absence of discipline, we become lazy. We get out of shape. We neglect rest. And we say what we think instead of holding our tongues. In short, we make a mess out of life. Through discipline, we protect our character and we build healthy habits. Discipline requires honesty, which means choosing the harder right instead of the easier wrong. It builds strength and solid boundaries. It means that we have the internal fortitude to confront what is wrong and, if appropriate, to render punishment and destroy toxicity. It means that we understand the critical importance of the mission and that all we do in our power is to effectively bring resources and energy to fulfill the mission. That's what it's all about. T.K. Moffitt, where are you? Stand up, sir. Before you stands a man who models discipline and who taught me why it is important to get down and do push-ups in front of the troops. To work hard every day and to do the best that we can. I'll never forget my first walk with you. You can sit down, my friend. T.K. Moffitt walked into the 104th Timberwolf Division, a proud division. How many Timberwolves do we have here?
Night Fighters!
Hooah, that's a lot. That was kind of weak, though. Let's do that again. Timberwolves!
Night Fighters!
That's still kind of lame. Timberwolves!
Night Fighters!
Okay, we must be getting old. All right, so T.K. Moffitt walks into the building, and I'm a Deputy G3, and I'm with Eldon Regwa probably. You were probably on that walk, I'm guessing. We're walking through the building, and we get done. And I thought it was a pretty good tour. And he looked at us and he said with all seriousness in his eyes, "This place is a pigsty. Clean it up." Great words of encouragement. I thought about what he was saying, and it dawned on me that I had been in that building for, I don't know, years. And I couldn't see the trash. I couldn't see the clutter. I'd been there too long. I missed it all. We needed fresh, disciplined eyes to see what we couldn't see. That's what discipline does for you. You can't do that without discipline. By the way, sir, you don't know this, but when I commanded the 76 Operational Response Command, one of my units was in Fort Totten, New York, or Queens. And I walked into that building, and I was getting a briefing from the battalion commander, and I had to use the restroom. That kind of happens when you get older. And I walked into the bathroom, and it was a pigsty. They were actually breeding pigs. There was paper everywhere, and the trash wasn't even in the trash can. They'd thrown it on the floor. It was disgusting. So, all my command sergeant majors were shocked. They'll be shocked when I say this, but they understand because they know me. I rolled up my sleeves and I started picking up trash in that bathroom. And I filled a plastic bag and I walked out and I started walking down. Oh my lands, you'd have thought I caused an earthquake in that building. Why is the CG carrying a bag of trash on his shoulder? Well, you know why. Because somebody needed to do it, and I'm not above taking trash out. Because it needed to be taken out because the place was filthy. I'm not as good a leader as you because they didn't get it. The next time I came, it was filthy again. So I need some help afterwards. Maybe you can do some more mentoring. But wow, discipline is really important. My good friend and classmate, Becky Halstead. Becky couldn't be here today, but she's the first person from West Point to make Brigadier General as a woman. This is what she says about discipline in her book, 24/7, The First Person You Must Lead Is You. I'm quoting now. "When I practice discipline in my life, everything else starts to fall into place. I make better choices. I respond more appropriately when I'm bombarded by events out of my control. It takes discipline for me to stay healthy, respect and care for others, prioritize my time, preserve my character, and maintain my integrity." End quote. Thank you, Becky. You can't do it without discipline. We have to have discipline. Anybody want to take a guess at my third word? This is a lung break, by the way, so feel free to volunteer. Gratitude. Gratitude is an attitude. In my life, it requires faith because I believe that God is sovereign and in control, and I can trust Him with how things turn out. Gratitude is the breath of joyful, thankful thinking expressed in word and demeanor. In other words, you can't fake it. In this atmosphere, people are inspired to be creative. A positive environment persists, and failure is not some fatal disease, but rather an opportunity to get better. When I'm thankful for people instead of critical, I see what is best in them, and I emphasize their strengths and look past their weaknesses. When I operate in joy, I cannot be defeated. Setbacks are opportunities. Victories are celebrations, and life is a journey of hope instead of a trail of tears. Even mourning, clothed in gratitude, has a profound effect. For we all experience trials, and that is okay. Show me leaders devoid of gratitude, and I'll show you a place where people don't like to go to work. Author Philip Yancey wrote that medical research is discovering that gratitude is the one emotional trait most likely to benefit physical health and recovery. Grateful people tend to be happier and more satisfied with their lives and may actually live longer. I don't know why they put the word may in there, because they do actually live longer. Eldon Regel, where are you? You're a handsome man. Ma'am, truth in lending, I'm not the fastest anymore. Eldon's faster. Eldon Regwa is a leader who I would challenge you to find any day without a smile on his face or a good word to say to someone. Many times, countless times, you have encouraged me with the spirit of gratitude. You've had some kind of encouragement that was just the medicine that I needed on a tough day. Wow, thank you. I'm thankful today for all of you who have taken the time to honor me in my last day of uniform service. Thank you for investing in me, believing in me, helping me, and sharing your time and energy. Tonight is going to be a fun night, by the way. We're going to express this in a lot more detail, this gratitude thing, and a lot of you are going to get some surprises. But I want you to know your presence means the world to me. But there's three to whom I must give thanks right now. First, I thank God for giving me the privilege and calling me to serve. That's number one. Second, I thank my dad and mom who modeled for me how to live well, taught me great principles for living, and supported and prayed for me every day. This morning, my dad got up at probably about 0:30, which for you in the Air Force is 4 o'clock. And he sat down with his cup of coffee and his Bible and his journal, which he prays through, and he prayed for me. That happened this morning. Happens every day of my life. That's pretty good fire. Where's Selman? Selman, that's pretty good field artillery support, don't you think? Pretty awesome. Finally, Kathleen, General Robinson pretty much stole all my thunder, which she's authorized to do. But you obviously know I couldn't do it without your help. And so this is but a small token for you. Kids, you don't get any flowers. Sucked, didn't it? Last word, humility. Last night, my brother Nate much taller and more handsome than me, somehow retains his hair. But I'm joyful. Last night, Nate and I went to the airport to pick up family members, and we pulled into Hertz, and I went down to my pocket, and I had no wallet. That's what we call a dilemma. So I'm thinking to myself, what the heck? I've driven over an hour. I've got to pick family members up. I can't fit them all in the truck. What am I going to do? So I remembered something I'd read earlier, and I went inside, and there's this big guy, about 600 pounds, 6'9", and he's looking at me, and I said, "Can you help me?" And I used my best bald, pathetic look that I could muster. And he said, "Yeah, what do you need?" I said, I am an idiot. I've never done this in my life, but I left my wallet at home, and I've got to pick up family members. I don't know what to do. And he said, "Are you a Gold member?" And I said, "Yes, sir." So he let my kids send over the phone my driver's license, front and back. And then he didn't ask for a credit card. And he wrote on the form, "Hey, this guy's going to come through. He's an idiot with a blue card. And he doesn't have his driver's license. Let him through." And he left. I was golden. You know, I was thinking through this. If I would have walked in and I said, "Hey, I'm Major General Dan York, and I need you to help me right now." What do you think the outcome would have been? I'd still be up there. If I had gone in and I said, "Come on, people make mistakes all the time. I'm one of them, but I need you to help me right now," he wouldn't help me. I had to humble myself. General Dwight D. Eisenhower stated that humility must always be the portion of any man who receives acclaim earned in the blood of his followers and sacrifices of his friends. Francis Frangipane is a noted author and speaker. This is what he wrote about humility. Humility, therefore, is the substructure of transformation. It is the essence of all virtues. Humility, the fourth key to success, is also an attitude. It's the pathway to humor and to enjoying the medicine of laughter. It's the key to promoting lifelong learning. That was good timing, Linda. Thank you. Leaders with humility create a safe environment and build solid teams because it's not about them. It's about us. Humility makes it possible to truly care about others and to celebrate when they do well. Humility is the nectar of peace. because we are freed from the need to defend ourselves, to stoke the fire of self-importance, to let conflict poison our soul, or bitterness to rot our very core. It is finally what lets us die with dignity, so that others might live with freedom and blessing. We're not shaped so much by what we do as by what we are. Ralph Roper, where are you? Stand up, sir. Ralph, I want to recognize you today before my friends, co-workers, and family as a man of humility. Your quiet, selfless service and humble bearing are inspiring. And I, sir, hope you become a general officer. I really do. Because if we don't make you a general someday, we've screwed up. Kate, where are you? You know, Ralph Roper called me, or I'm standing with him in a parking lot, and he calls up Kate, and he says, hey, you need to have this guy as your sponsor. Now, they're from Connecticut. Sorry about that. And I knew that Ralph Roper, he said that this is a gal, he's a coach, by the way. He coaches track and cross country, another fast runner. And I knew when he said that I needed to sponsor Kate, I needed to do that. Because Ralph Roper is a guy I trust. He's been with me in 2 different commands. Ralph, thank you for your humility. You're a great man. An old saint, Henry Scougal, used to say, pure and genuine humility begetteth both a veneration and love among all wise and discerning persons, while pride defeateth its own design and depriveth a man of that honor it makes him pretend to. Wow. Prideful leaders are dangerous. Their insecurity puts leaders at risk. They lose perspective because they cannot see beyond their own chest. The moment that I think I'm special and that I deserve this or that I'm somehow better than those around me is the moment I'm done. Pride truly does precede falling and failing. That's why today is about us. I'm here because of you. My success is your success. You've taught me much. You've given me the strength and the encouragement to serve. You've given me a rich legacy to look back on with the right kind of pride. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. May God bless you in this great country.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pastor Brian Pitek, the York's family pastor from the Ascent Church, will now deliver the benediction.
Major General York, one of my newest friends since I just moved here. Thank you for inviting me to pray the benediction today. And because you are such an esteemed leader, obviously, and as I've been able to see in just a short time of knowing you, a man of God, and one who deeply loves the Word of God, I've chosen the words of one of the greatest leaders who ever lived, the prophet Moses, from the Word of God. And in fact, from Psalm 90, when it says here, a prayer of Moses, the man of God, as our benediction. Let's pray. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the mountains were brought forth, wherever you had formed the earth and the world, from everlasting to everlasting, you are God. You return man to dust and say, return, O children of man. For 1,000 years in your sight are but as yesterday when it is past, or as a watch in the night. For all our days pass away under your wrath. We bring our years to an end like a sigh. The years of our life are 70, or even by reason of strength 80, yet their span is but toil and trouble. They are soon gone and we fly away. So teach us to number our days aright, that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Satisfy us in the morning with your steadfast love, that we may rejoice and be glad all our days. Let the favor of the Lord our God be upon us, and establish the work of our hands upon us. Yes, establish the work of our hands. And now to him who is able to do far more abundantly than all we can ask or think, according to the power at work within us, to him be glory in the church and in Christ Jesus throughout all generations, forever and ever. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor P. Ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of the armed forces are proud to have served with Major General York and wish him and his family every success in their future endeavors. Please rise and join us in singing the Art of Song. The words can be found in the back of your program.
We stole the tune.
We're the army and proudly proclaim, first to fight for the right and to build the nation's might, and the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won, and the army goes rolling along. And it's hi, hi, hey, the army's on its way, sound off the cadence loud and strong. For wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
Yeah.